Okay.
I got it.
You know what it's
Yeah,
like.
she's already on.
It's like being over on 5.
It's like you know what I do right now. No, I know.
The thing about being here, you can see people, but they can't.
It's the mic up, baby.
You mean Mr.
Kill your mic.
Yang?
Kill your mic.
What are we waiting for?
He went to the bathroom, so go ahead. We can go ahead and start.
Oh, wait on the round. You gotta hold it.
Hold it down. Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. Please call the roll.
Archie.
Here.
Baronis.
Present.
Bolin.
Present.
Gathing.
Present.
Johnston.
Present.
Verrett.
Present.
Williams.
Mr. Williams is here. He'll be here in just a minute. So when he shows up, if you show him in attendance. Okay, would you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Right behind us.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag
of the
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty
and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, we'll start with the superintendent's report, and the first item on the agenda is the superintendent's advisory committee.
Yes, coming up is Dr. Sheila Harrison Williams and Miss Gloria Davis, who were our co-leads for the Superintendent's Transition Advisory Committee.
Good afternoon, Board.
Good afternoon. Good evening.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Thank you again for having us. Thank you for the opportunity. How you doing? Marvelous. Marvelous. All right, very good. All right. So we're going to go on and get started. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
And again, we'd like to say thank you for the opportunity to come and present with you this evening. And we are most importantly thankful to the superintendent for asking us to be the co-lead facilitators of her fabulous Superintendent's Transition Advisory Committee. So we will begin. Thank you. We start with the mission and vision of Kankakee School District because always when you are embarking on anything that's new and change, as a change agent, you need to make sure that everyone is familiar and understands why we are here and what is our purpose. And so the mission and vision statement tells us that. And so this was the catalyst for what we use as we move forward with this fantastic process. We would like to first introduce ourselves so that you know who we are as, again, as the co-chairs of the committee. I will begin. I am Gloria Davis, a retired, yay for retirement, superintendent of schools, of the superintendent for 16 years. I was superintendent in Decatur, Illinois for 8 years, as well as Dodge City, Kansas. And then upon retiring from Decatur, moved to Chicago to become the superintendent of education with the Illinois Department of Juvenile Justice. There's a story behind that, but 2 retirements. But also was someone that is originally from St. Louis, Missouri, and University City, Missouri, to be exact, where I was also assistant superintendent, elementary principal, and public information officer. What we want to make sure that you understand is, Sheila is going to introduce herself, that both of us are committed to education, committed to making sure that districts as in Kankakee, as well as our background, is serving students, making sure that students are successful and thriving. Sheila?
Absolutely. I'm Sheila Harrison Williams, also a retired superintendent. Superintendent for 18 years in the South Suburb and Will County in Illinois. In addition to being a retired superintendent, I'm also a retired executive director for the Arizona School Boards Association, where I spent 3.5 years in the last, right after I retired in 2019. I'll put it like that, during the COVID times. And I'm so happy to be back home. But I did that, and I love working with schools, school districts, school board members, just education in general. As Gloria said, this is our life, this is our life, this is our love, what we're doing here. So we're very committed to Kankakee right now. We are working closely with the superintendent. I want to thank you again for the opportunity. I've had a very long, successful career in education. I too, not just being a superintendent, also a principal, teacher, special education, early childhood background. You said, you name it, I've done it. I'm also a partner with the BWP, an associate search firm where we do national searches for superintendents, central office administrators, and principals throughout the country. I'm served also as a mentor coach to a number of superintendents, a number of principals, and I currently am a part-time field service director for the Illinois Association of School Administrators. That's my new gig. I don't think I had that when I talked with you guys the last time, but I'm enjoying that to the utmost, working with early career superintendents, making sure that they are successful in whatever they're trying to do. And I'm hoping that I'm going to be successful at that and continue to work here in Kankakee. There we go. All right, so I'm going to get started with the fact that our superintendent actually reached out to the community and asked, and she called out to the community and asked people to be a part of this process, of this advisory committee. And the response was 57 people actually answered the call to come in and work with us. But out of the 57 people, 38 were selected, and I want to emphasize selected. These are selected committee members. They were actually handpicked, and they're made up of central office staff. We have 10 members of the central office staff that's working with us, 2 clerical staff members, 7 community members or partners, 1 information technology person, and 2 itinerant staff, 8 parents, 2 school leaders, 6 teachers, and 2 from Department of Transportation. And I'm delighted to let you know that these are the people that were here, that are here tonight. Those that can be here are here, but the people on this list are those that heeded the call and were very much a part of this. And we, of course, were broke up into 4 different subcommittees: community and family engagement, educational equity, operational efficiencies, and teaching and learning. And here with us this evening, if you're here and your name is called, please stay standing until all the names are called. Ricky Tucker, Kyla James, Milani Vigaloma, hope I didn't mess you up too bad, Cherie Harwell, Rebecca Parks, And those two names are the people that actually led this committee as the facilitators. Kelly Johnson, Ronnie Wilcox, and Carrie Clody. Jamie Hamilton, Jamise Cleggett, Jessica Fredericks, Angelique Amber, Rose Bailey, Lisa Mulder, Pam Powell, Kelly Gilbert, Angela Shea, Janet Jares, Crystal Clifton, Maria Calderon, Ayanna Smith, Charles Bill Tudor, Nana Bunsu, Robert Ellington Snipes, Kim Starkey, Michelle Dahl, Christine Porter, Cynthia Veranda, Stephanie Gardner, Jenny Way, Edith Petty, Tracy Seelock, Karen Grill, Dr. Yvette Rose, Michael Boyd, Gabrielle Garrett. This group here, and I want to go back and call some names because I didn't recognize them as the facilitators. Jamise Cleggett, Kelly Gilbert were the facilitators for educational equity. Crystal Clifton, Ayanna Smith were the facilitators for the operational efficiency. Jenny Way, Tracy Seelock, and Gabrielle Garrett were the facilitators for teaching and learning. And I want to thank you all publicly and personally from the bottom of my heart, and I know I speak for Gloria as I do. You guys have showed up and showed out and given us 110% each and every time that we've met. So we ask you to come out tonight to be recognized by the Board of Education. So we want to thank you. Thank you.
And they're not quite done yet. They'll have to be back on Wednesday on October the 30th.
All right.
Right. So as we celebrate our fabulous team, we want to emphasize, as Sheila just said, that this was a call from the superintendent. And as we did with our meeting the other night, we want to personally thank her for having the vision to really want to gather information from across the district, from the community and staff, and develop the transition advisory team. What you see before you on the screen now is the process by which the entire concept has been developed and will continue to proceed further. We start with making sure that the Board of Education is the group that we start with, because you are the ones who help to set the policy and give direction to the district. But as I said, the superintendent did a yeoman's job in the very beginning months of her tenure in terms of having a listening tour, providing other sources of facilities to let people come and talk, and she listened. So what you have before you is starting with her vision and then having the listening and learning tour, as well as other pieces of data that you'll hear more about shortly. And that was the impetus for developing the transition team. Again, as you see the individuals who were introduced to you this evening. And from that transition team, we have been meeting and talking and discussing and having some very critical conversations, because this is what will help to lead the district forward. And with that, we will then continue on, as we have been discussing, strategies and strategic priorities that will help to develop the commitments and the goals and the process for really coming up with a strategic planning team and a strategic plan. We understand that Kankakee has not had a strategic plan for a while, and this process will be the impetus for moving forward with that strategic plan. So it's from the Transition Advisory Committee and all the various subcommittees that you just had introduced, to really coming up with a advisory team, a strategic advisory plan team, and then launching a whole strategic planning process that we hope will continue to move the district forward for the next 3 to 5 years. The next slide will just show you a listing of all the various meetings that we have had and will continue to have. As I said, we have another meeting coming up this week on the 30th, and then we will continue, we being Sheila and I, continue to work together and probably have feedback from the subcommittee co-chairs, and then come back to you on December the 9th with a comprehensive plan based on all of the conversations, all of the data reviews that we have had, and present that to you again. What we want to make sure that you understand as well as the general public is that the role of, our role as lead co-chairs was very comprehensive. First and foremost, we provided support to the superintendent in just the development of the plan. We had many conversations even before our first meeting with the entire 38-member team. And the second key area is to provide coordination and planning, and we led all of the meetings for the Transition Advisory Committee. And by that, our process included not only meeting with the total group, but then allowing time for the subcommittees to have time to discuss and utilize the data, review it, and begin to continue to write their subcommittee reports. So from the Subcommittee Advisory Committee, we, as I said, will have a comprehensive report which includes primarily the strengths and challenges of all of the data sources that we have utilized, and then come up with final recommendations that we will present to the superintendent as well as to you, the Board of Education. The role of the subcommittee facilitators, as was pointed out for each subcommittee, is and still is to basically maintain the group norms as we have indicated that they should do, and then but primarily to guide the whole process as they reviewed and analyzed the data. Data is important, and when you talk to individuals and you go out into the community and you talk with staff members, people want to know, what are you going to do with the information that you hear? What are you going to do with the things that they said they would like to see change in terms of challenges, and how are you going to capitalize on the strengths that have been indicated? So we want the whole Kankakee community, as well as you, the Board of Education, to know that the big catalyst for this process is to make sure people feel heard, make sure that people feel that the things that they have offered will be addressed in some form or fashion. So the subcommittee facilitators led those conversations in their individual groups and will present individual reports for each of their subcommittees to us as well as the superintendent in order to develop that comprehensive report.
Okay. And we'll get into the sources of data here shortly. The Community and Family Engagement Group and all of our groups were charged with analyzing the district's data through the lens of equity to answer the following questions for the Community and Family Engagement. Does the community trust us? Are we effective in our communication, both receiving and sending? And then how do we know? So the subcommittees were charged with looking at the data and trying to figure that out, looking for the strengths, looking for the weaknesses, trying to find out, well, how do we know these things? What are the supporting documents? What are the supporting statements? Educational equity. This group also charged with analyzing the data through the lens of equity to answer the following questions. Is our school system free from oppressive practices that prohibit our students from accessing opportunities? Example, gifted, dual credit, and also our resources. And if that's the case, how do we know? Or if that's not the case, how do we know? Operational efficiency. They're charged with analyzing the district's data through the lens of equity to answer these questions. Are we an organization that provides safe, clean, and quality educational environments? Are we economically efficient, effective, and sustainable? And then how do we know if we are or we're not? And finally, the fourth one is teaching and learning. They were charged with analyzing the data to answer the following questions. Are we exposing all students to coursework that is grade level appropriate? Are our students able to demonstrate grade level competence on district and state level assessments? Do students with disabilities receive the necessary resources and support? If so, or if not, how do we know? And so that's what the different groups, subgroups were charged with, looking at the data. And they dug deep, and everyone had their own focus. Each subcommittee had their own focus. And so from that, we looked at the following data.
And as you were hearing throughout this report and presentation, data became one of the primary focuses of this transition team. And you see before you the various components of data that were reviewed extensively, again, starting with the listening and learning tour that the superintendent conducted throughout the community and throughout the school district. And so the committees were able to look at all of the summary statements that were provided based on that listening and learning tour. Also, the results of the thought exchange, which again went out to the entire community and to staff, and all the results of all of the ideas and all of the focuses that individuals shared throughout that process. And both Sheila and I will tell you, no one was shy in providing their information. You're probably used to that, but everybody was pretty much said what they thought and what they felt, which was good. We also looked at the current organizational chart of the district and wanted to make sure that everyone understood the structure of the district as it currently exists in terms of positions and within the school district, not only at the central level, but also at the school building level. We spent a lot of time looking at state assessment data as well as local assessment data, and both of these pieces of data are important to look at how are students achieving, who's achieving, which subgroups are performing, which subgroups of students are not performing. Data really tells the story of what's happening on a regular basis in terms of the assessment data on a daily basis. So we spent a lot of time looking at that, and then that led us to also looking at student learning outcomes, which is sometimes called ROI. But student learning outcomes, if you are looking at data, what are the outcomes that students are being exposed to in terms of what are they learning, how are they learning, and is it working? We also looked at financial forecast analysis, and because how you spend your money tells what you value. And so we wanted to make sure that as we were looking at all of the data sources, that we looked at the financial piece as well. We also looked at the 5 essential skills report that comes from the state that goes out to the staff and community, and we analyzed that data as well as looking at the feasibility study. Buildings and the environment within the building, the structure of the buildings, the structure of which buildings need updating and so on is also very important as it relates to student learning and student outcomes. And so we also utilize the feasibility study to study those areas as well. That then brings us to the end of our update and report for you. And again, we both thank you for the opportunity to serve. We enjoy working with the team. They have been fantastic, and we are very proud of their work. And again, we thank and celebrate the superintendent for leading this process and moving forward again as we go from this transition team process into a whole strategic planning process.
I would just like to add that just keep in mind that the work that we are doing now is setting you guys up for the new strategic plan that you guys will be doing probably in the very near future. And this is almost like the needs assessment for that. Getting that information, all of that information that you're going to need to make sure that that strategic plan is done and is reflective of what's needed for this community and for the school district. So this was a very critical piece. So I really do think that time wasn't, and energy was not wasted. This was very good information, and I think that even with the people that participated on the team, you know, they got to understand what was going on and how people truly felt about the district, the people in the district, the people that worked in the district, and the future of the district. And everyone was very proud. When we talked about the listening and learning tours and all of the other data, the thought exchange, you know, what I kept hearing was, we've never had this before. This has never happened before. But you know what? It's a new day. And we're ready to take Kankakee from good to great. And we're ready to do that. And we're ready to help you guys take it from good to great as well. So again, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any questions from any of the board members at this stage? Seeing none, thank you very much, Ms. Davis and Dr. Harrison-Williams, for your leadership. We are grateful for that. And not to minimize, and in fact, to maximize, thank you to those who have volunteered to assist us in improving our school district. And I know it's a commitment of time, but I really appreciate, as was described, the fantastic team that's been working. Thank you very much.
Great team, great team.
Yeah, one thing I do want to add, because you had the listening to our summary statements for everyone that participated in those, names and all identifying information was redacted. So I just want to make sure that that's clear, that your names and in your departments, all of that was removed. It was just summary statements and sorted out. So if somebody says
Very
they
true.
read your statement, they're making it up, so.
Okay,
Thank you, Board of Education.
thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you.
Okay, we're to good news. Dr. Gilbert?
Good evening. Pleasure to be with you here tonight. Thank you again, Ms. Davis and Dr. Sheila Harrison-Williams. We very much appreciate your leadership. Some good news to share. We have several items tonight. The first, I would like to begin, Pregler School is sharing good news. They received a donation and would like to extend their heartfelt thanks to Ms. Rosemary Pistorius and another generous donor for their donation of books for their reading spaces. Your contributions will greatly enrich our collection and provide valuable resources for our students. We appreciate truly your support and commitment to fostering a love of reading within our school community. Thank you once again for your kindness. Our next is from LCC, who also received a donation. They would like to thank Jennifer Burton for donating coats to LCC students. Edison would like to thank Ms. Susie Baronis for her Latino Heritage Month presentation. Kankakee High School would like to have a recognition. They would like to acknowledge that our KHS, our Kankakee High School Marching Band, won the Rich Township Raptor Ramble Battle of the Bands.
All right.
They placed first in Single A show, Best Drum Major, and Best Percussion. The Spirit Decor Award for Band Pride and overall Grand Champion in the Rich Township Raptor Rumble Battle of the Bands. Congratulations to the marching band. And our last recognition is from the multilingual department. Our multilingual department would like to express their gratitude to all students, family, board members, administrators, staff, and community members for their contributions that made the Hispanic Heritage Celebration a great success. We look forward to an even better celebration next year. Thank you to all those folks. I only have 2 additional items from instructional programs. One is to remind our community that next Thursday and Friday will be student intervention days. If you haven't already heard from your school principals, please be on the lookout for information on those 2 days. Students are encouraged to attend school with their parents and learn more about their child's progress towards their academic goals this school year. And finally, tonight, would like to bring to your attention, in the board agenda, we have, in collaboration with Ms. Kim Starkey, our Director of Student Support Services, and Ms. Cheryl Lewis, our Director of Health Clinics, the recommendation to approve a contract with Dr. Clarence Parks. Dr. Parks will provide services to both the junior high school and the high school health clinics for the 2024-2025 academic year. This is a requirement this year for us from the Illinois Department of Public Health as a result of our collaboration and being able to have a health clinic on site. So tonight in the agenda, you will be, that will be a recommendation for approval.
Okay.
Any questions?
Are there any questions from any of the board members?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Next on the agenda is the Finance Business Office.
We'll keep this fairly brief and simple. We just have our monthly finance report, and the quick overview that you can see, I'm going to break it down just a little bit. And just a reminder to the community, with this number right here represents the amount in all the funds that is left over after we paid the bills. This is not an excess for the year. This is not so we can all go out and blow this on hats. This is money we have to keep to spend later. So it's just like the checkbook in your house. Hopefully you're not spending all your money every month and you have some left over to go on for months that might be a little heavier. This number represents the operating funds, which are just the four listed there. And these are the funds we primarily work with throughout the year. We have spent about 35.8, almost 36%, or we've received about 36% of our money for the year thus far in September. And we are about 3.4 million behind this time last year, but keep in mind, last year we had some construction going on, so there were more revenues, more expenses. And as we move into expenditures, once again, we break it down a little bit. We have spent about 22% of our budgeted expenditures for the year so far by the end of September, and compared to this time last year, about 2.5 million less. Once again, we're not constructing this year. Our cash flow, the gold is this year, the blue is last year, so we only have 3 months to show, but you can see it is following the same pattern. So we are right on target for what we should be doing. And by way of the last couple of updates, we've had some questions about the forensic audit. There has been some delay while documents were being received from some of the agencies providing the grant money. We believe we have all of them now as of last Friday, so the audit has started, and we hope to have an evidence or an estimate of the completion date sometime over the next week or two as they dig into this. So that's just a little update there. We had, as our second update, we had some teacher salary concerns that we were addressing, and we talked about those at some length, but most of those are now resolved. We just have a couple of stragglers. We're still working on some meetings, so we're good there. Just wanted to mention that upcoming here in November, there is a conference that a lot of the business, human resources, and other central office, and as well as some building personnel will be attending for the Skyward system, and it's just those 2 days, so just be aware that some offices may have limited operations on those 2 days just because of that conference. But we will have payroll done. Nobody has to worry about that. And then finally, we'll be looking at our preliminary levy presentation at the next regular board meeting, just a heads up. And then, of course, in December, we'll have our hearing and we'll hopefully approve the levy so we can file it with the clerk and still have money to operate after January starts. So That's the end of the financial update, unless there are any questions.
Are there any questions from any board members regarding the business office presentation? Just remember, if you have questions, hold until the 13th and 14th. Is that what I heard you say?
November 13th and 14th, a lot of the offices will be on skeleton crew.
So we shouldn't hold the questions until the 13th and 14th.
I wouldn't.
Okay, very good. All right, human resources, personnel.
Well, good evening.
Good evening.
Evening.
First off, let me say thank you to each of you for accepting the superintendent's recommendation to hire me as the interim assistant superintendent of human resources. And I tell you, she has charged me with getting this work done. So I've been on the job for 8 days, and we're on our way already.
Good.
So this evening, we're going to hear from Dr. Harris regarding human resources.
Good evening, Board of Education, Dr. Lance.
Good evening.
Good evening.
All right, this is the update from the Human Resource Department. To begin, we are beginning a partnership with Golden Apple. It's the Golden Apple Accelerator Program, which will allow for aspiring teachers, those with bachelor's degrees or those who are in college with bachelors or working towards their bachelor's in college to attain licensure through Golden Apple. And so we're going to have 2 days of informational sessions. So on the first date, we'll have in-person informational sessions with our Golden Apple representatives, which will be from 3 to 3:30 for our teachers who are in the junior high, high school, LCC, and then from 4 p.m. to 4:30 for our teachers who are in the elementary buildings. Again, this is an awesome opportunity as it is available to any candidate who is in college or has a bachelor's degree, and the tuition is paid through the Golden Apple Foundation. So we'll also have a virtual opportunity for those who are unable to attend in person. They'll be able to participate virtually on November 18th from 5 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. Via Zoom. Again, this is open to anybody in our school community. So some of our upcoming recruitment events. We are booked and busy in HR. So we have a student-teacher mixer. We have over 10 student teachers in our district right now for the fall semester. And so we want to mix and mingle with them and speak to them further about employment opportunities here in our district. We also have a UIC job fair that we'll be attending on tomorrow, actually, and then we'll have the Illinois State University job fair on November 12th that we'll be attending as well. And then, ta-da, we'll have the save the date for our district-wide job fair. Yay, right? In-house. So we're calling all people to come to our district-wide job fair on December 7th, 2024. That is a Saturday from 9 to noon here in our district, and we are inviting everybody to come out to that job fair here in our district. More information is forthcoming as we will roll this out, with all of the media sources, and it will take place at our junior high school in the cafeteria. And as we speak about our district-wide job fair, here are some of our vacancies. This is our elementary vacancies. We have those vacancies there. Our middle school vacancies, we have 4 vacancies there. High school, we have several vacancies in our high school building. Special education, we are working on our special education vacancies as well. Dr. Karen Clody is doing an amazing job of working on helping us to fill those vacancies. Our custodial vacancies, our food service vacancies, we are in search of our food service personnel. And we are still in search for a substitute clerical district-wide. So if you are interested in any of these vacancies, please feel free to scan the QR code and apply today. Any questions?
I do have a question. Does any other board members have a question? For the Our Job Fair, if somebody comes in and says, gee, I'm really interested, what will I make? Will we be able to answer that within an approximation of what they'll make?
Absolutely,
Okay. I think that's important to,
absolutely.
very good. Thank you. I appreciate your report.
All right, that concludes Human Resources.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, let me just add one more thing, too, that they did not mention, but should be mentioned. So earlier on, we talked about the intentionality with recruiting and partnering with HBCUs and HSIs. So Mr. Spencer Wiggins, he'll be on site next week. November 4th. And so that is a gentleman that we partnered with to help get us into the doors with our HBCUs and HSIs. So Dr. Morgan Harris knows to get her bags packed, her and Dr. Henderson to hit the road, so we can create those partnerships. And we want to create those partnerships before students graduate. We actually want to partner with them so that they can do their student teaching with us and then hopefully remain with us. So that's the goal, and I'm sure you all will have an update next month.
That's correct.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, we're to the principal's report. Ms. West?
Welcome, Board of Education, Dr. Lance, and staff and community to LCC. When you come to LCC, you may wonder what we're all about. Each year, we choose a theme that will inspire us, and typically, I tend to go towards children's books. That way, when I read it to the classroom, they can have it for a gift for their own classroom. Maybe is a story of everything you will do and everything you can be. It's a story about all the possibilities ahead of you. It's for who you are right now, and it's for all the magical potential that you hold inside. So you'll notice that you guys all have a book, which I challenge you to read to a classroom and then share and donate to a classroom. So that way you can pass on that gift of reading to everyone. And it's a fantastic way to connect to something that's greater than us.
All right.
So the other thing that you might wonder is who are the kids that come here? So each day at 7:30, 450 kids come through our building. About 90% are smiling because some of them just are not morning people. We have generations of families, scholars, and athletes, and we're proud of our diverse population. Our ages range of 10 years. We have students from age 4 to 14. It's typically the junior high kids who aren't smiling. We're home to Montessori and the Fine Arts program, which is preschool through 8th grade, which makes us unique. We're the only building in the district that has preschool through 8th grade. 13% of our students have IEPs and 9 are identified as gifted students. Most of our classrooms have 2 grade levels where the teachers and the paraprofessionals work hard to meet the needs of all the students. And it's important that we see all of our students, but 25% of our students are chronically absent, which means that 10%, they're missing 10% or more of their time without a valid reason. One of the happiest things that we see in the office is when parents come to pick up their students and their students are mad at them because they're going to miss something. So you know some magical things are happening. For our staff, if you are here, if you could please stand up so we could recognize you. So I appreciate each and every one of them. I want to give a special thank you to Erin Goldenstein, who is my assistant principal, and she's the one who keeps me balanced. Ruth and Mari, who are our front line, our office ladies, who really are in charge. And then all of our staff that is here. They make everything wonderful. I want to give a special shout out to Maurice, because he is our custodian here, but he really takes a point each and every day to make every student's life special here. But I also want to thank our kitchen, because I know DeAndre's here, I saw him. The junior high kids come in so excited to see what's for lunch, and there are a lot of fun things for lunch this year.
But every day at 7:15, 60 staff members start moving to make sure that the students have the best education and experience that they can have as possible. It's a team and it runs seamlessly. I also want to thank Keith. He's sitting over there. He probably doesn't even know. Now he's looking up. He makes sure that if I practiced my speech with him earlier, and I want to recognize him because for each board meeting, he makes sure that all of us administrators are ready to go and everything is perfect. So I want to recognize you and say thank you, Keith. I didn't practice that part earlier. Last but not least, we also want to thank you for Mavis. You approved Mavis as a therapy dog a few board meetings ago. And if you ever read my newsletter, we are a pet family here at LCC. We have a section called Dogs of the Car Line, and Mavis fits right in. But there will be a cat in the newsletter next December. It was in the car line last week. So I added the staff demographics for you to look at, but I really want to talk about our staff in action. The staff is actively involved in and out of school. We have a strong PTO. If you've seen the signs, we started our after-school program, which has student council, coding, music, art, and SEL programs. The teachers and students participate in a program with the Museum of Science and Industry, and we strive to work with as many community partnerships as possible. And one of them that I also want to recognize tonight is Rise and Thrive. They've been an integral part of our school, and I personally have worked closely with them since I became an administrator, so I'd like to thank Rebecca Parks for that connection. The next part is going about our goals. I'm going to do the bottom two goals first. Each year we set goals. One of them is based, our third goal is based off of our 5 essential surveys, so thank you for everyone who filled it out. We want to move from a neutral designation to a strong or very strong designation in the category of collaborative teachers by targeting collaborative practices. How are we going to do that? Teachers will be going into each other's room and providing feedback and observing and getting ideas for the instruction. We also have quite a few content specialists here who often get to travel to other buildings, but the goal is to have that same thing mirrored here. One of our other goals is to reduce our chronic absenteeism from 25% to 20%, and we implement a tracking tool that allows us to look at weekly student attendance and monitor and partner with students so we can address the root cause of our absenteeism. And many people don't know, but we like everyone to get here on time too, and we start at 7:30 in the morning. For our first goal, which I think most of us have, we want to decrease the percentage of students needing urgent reading intervention and math interventions by 25% as measured by STAR, Math, and ELA. How are we going to do that? All the teachers are providing focused Tier 2 interventions in their classroom, and we have an interventionist who's providing focused Tier 3 interventions. We know that the potential is endless, and we're determined to find it. And then last, we have IAR. Our goal is to increase the percentage of students meeting or exceeding proficiency levels in English, language arts, mathematics on the IAR assessment by 20% by the end of the year. That means for math, 41 students to 50 students, and ELA, 58 students to 70 students. And how are we going to do that? All the teachers are going to use CFAs in their formative and summative assessments to see if a student attained a goal of the standard and collaborate on practices to support them. And then last but not least, we have our retirees. So I have 3 ladies sitting over there who are absolutely wonderful, and it's actually over 100 years of experience. The first one I want to recognize is Amy DeLong. She's in the center of all those photos there. Amy DeLong, if you want to come up, because we're going to take pictures, girls. She's actually, I started here in 1999, and she was one of the first people that I met. She was not my assigned mentor, but she definitely took me under my wing. I think she's only been in 2 classrooms. She has over 30 years of experience, and she has been at Montessori as a 1st and 2nd grade teacher for her entire career. So if Amy, if you could come up. Woo. And then next we have Renee Long. My mother-in-law's friend used to talk about Renee Long over the years, and I just kind of heard about her. And then she actually took a risk and joined us when our preschool program came here last year. And she has fit right in, and all those things that I heard about her over the years are true. Her classroom is phenomenal. She has over 30 years of experience, and she has embraced Montessori like no other person has, and she was a huge help for us when the preschool program came. So Renee, are you coming up? Yeah. Amy's 35, Renee's 34. I was afraid to get it mixed up. And then Elizabeth is 28-point-something years. She couldn't get it straight from me earlier when I asked her. But she actually did 11 years of subbing prior to going into a classroom. I feel like she's always been here. I feel like I always remember her here. But she did 9 semesters of maternity leaves. Is that how it went in other schools across the district? So she really helped us raise our kids too, not only the kids in the classroom, us to take that time off to have our kids. So thank you. And so we're going to take some pictures. And if there's any questions, I can take those now also.
Does anybody have any questions about LCC? We'll
Thank
talk.
you. Thank you, ladies.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is public comment. Before we call the speakers up, I would like to ask you to direct your communication to the board. We will recognize members of the audience who wish to make comments to the board regarding any topics related to school district business. The board will take all comments under advisement without discussion, which means the board will not respond tonight. It is if a member of the public raises an issue or concern that requires follow-up, the board president or the superintendent will do so in a timely manner. Please give us your name and direct your comments to me or the rest of the board. I ask you to keep in mind that civility is a expected behavior, and we would ask you not to make any personal charges against any individuals. And the first person to be called up is Sandra Jones. What?
Torres.
I'm sorry, misread the, Sandra Torres. I apologize, I misread it.
Pues buenas noches.
Good afternoon.
Vengo a presentar una inquietud que tengo sobre la clase de mi hijo.
I'm here to bring some concerns about the class of about my son's class.
Fui a hablar con la principal el día jueves
I went to go to speak to the principal on Thursday,
y ella me dio una respuesta, pues, de que concreta se puede decir. Ajá.
and she gave me a concrete answer.
Mi preocupación es que mi hijo está en clases de gifted y no están teniendo una maestra y ya terminó el primer cuarto.
I am worried because my son is in gifted class and they have not had a teacher and we are already at the end of the quarter.
Y ella me dijo que el día de hoy se iba a presentar una nueva maestra.
And she had told me that today was going to be a new teacher.
Pero yo estoy aquí porque quiero que todos pues estén al tanto de lo que está pasando,
And I am here today because I would like everyone to know what is going on.
porque son unos niños que son superdotados como para que no les estén poniendo la atención que necesitan.
And I feel like they are students who are highly gifted and they are not given the attention that they require and need.
Porque incluso ni siquiera han hecho ni una página del libro de matemáticas
And they have not started not one page in math,
y ya están retrasados, como quien dice, por un cuarto.
and they are behind a quarter.
Y estoy preocupada que pues vayan a perder el año que llevan avanzado.
And I am worried that they're going to lose the year that they have already started.
Y pues quería que supieran para que trabajemos todos en una solución.
And I wanted you guys to know so that way we can all work together to find a solution.
Y quiero aclarar que la directora, pues la principal, fue muy amable conmigo y me respondió, pero solo estoy aquí para como afirmar y que todos sepamos.
And I do want to clarify that the principal was very good, and she did respond well. I'm just here today, so we all know what's going on,
Bien, pues sí, eso es todo.
and that's all.
Can you tell us what school?
¿Cuál?
Kennedy,
Kennedy,
quinto grado.
5th grade.
Very good.
5th and 6th grade gifted.
Thank you very much.
Gracias.
Next is Robert Ellington Snipes.
Good evening, distinguished members of the Board of Education. To Dr. Lance, I will share with you the words of that J-Lo shared with her 15th boyfriend and Nicki Minaj with her 17th. I won't keep you long.
Okay.
There are 3 quotes from an oratorical observationist I would like to share and close with a statement of gratitude. We study our history, for in doing so, we frame our future. History don't make me feel good, it makes me do better. And nothing moves forward without action. Quotes of Robert S. Ellington Snipes. Thank you for moving forward. I look forward to the fruits of this laborious endeavor of our superintendent and her transition team. I believe it's in the best interest of students, staff, the board, and our community. Keep hope alive. Keep our students alive. Keep our community alive. Keep education alive, as education remains the heartbeat of America. Thank you to Lady Gloria Davis and Dr. Sheila Harrison Williams. Last but certainly not least, our superintendent, Dr. Lance, and her administrative supporters, the Board of Education. And then a person that don't get a lot of credit, but and really has nothing to do, but yet entwined in this, is our high school building principal, Dr. Albert Brass, Jr., for the task he undertakes every day to help our students to see and be the best version of themselves. As my former pastor, Elder Cox, say, it's a poor duck that don't praise his own pond. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that brings us to the consent agenda. The consent agenda this evening includes the approval of our previous board minutes, approval of the regular bills and the bill run that's attached, approval of resignations and retirement of licensed personnel, approval of appointments for licensed personnel, approval of appointments for extra duty assignments, approval of internal appointments, and approval of a termination. Are there any issues? Do any of the board members have a request to remove any of those items from the consent agenda? Hearing none, I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Gathing. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Baronis. Is there any motion to amend?
I make a motion, sorry. A motion to remove Rosalind Glass.
And that's from the
Number 6.
internal appointments?
Yes.
All right. The motion, there's a motion to amend the motion. Is there a second on the motion to amend the motion?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Gathing. Is there any discussion or comments or debate to this motion as amended? Okay, then let's first vote on the motion to amend.
Archie,
Yes.
Baronis,
Yes.
Gathing,
Yes.
Johnston,
Yes.
Verrett,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Bolin,
Yes. 7 ayes, 0 noes. The motion to amend is approved. Now we need to vote on the motion to approve the consent agenda as amended. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Gathing. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Baronis. Any discussion, debate, or comment? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Baronis?
Yes.
Gathing?
Yes.
Johnston?
Yes.
Verret?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Archie? Bolin?
Yes. 7 ayes, 0 nays, the motion carries. The next item is an approval of a contract with Dr. Clarence Parks that was referenced by Dr. Gilbert in her report as the medical director of our health clinics. Is there a motion to approve the contract with Dr. Parks?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Gathing. Is there a second?
No, motion by Mary, second.
Oh, I'm sorry. Motion by Ms. Archie. And is there a second by Mr. Gathing?
Yes.
Any discussion, any debate? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Gathing?
Yes.
Johnston?
Yes.
Verret?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Archie? Baronis?
Yes.
Bolin?
Yes. 7 ayes, 0 noes, the motion carries. I want to go back for just a minute. We've approved the hiring of 4 persons tonight. One is Ryan Hale, one is Ryan Graff, one is Brian Jackson, and the last one is Charmaine Johnson. Congratulations to those 4 persons. They are now co-workers with us in the school district. Moving on to old business. Is there any old business? There's none on the agenda. Announcements? Any announcements? I would like to underscore the gratitude for the Hispanic Heritage Celebration. For if you were here, there wasn't any seat for you to sit in. The place was full, upstairs, downstairs, and as enthusiastic a group. And when you hear Dr. Lance trill as part of her expression of appreciation, and the kids stood up and gave her an applause because of her trill, I was amazed. Anyway,
Practice. I would like to say something.
what?
I would
Yes.
like to say something. I would just like to thank Dr. Lance sort of provides us attendance numbers. And I know that attendance has been an issue and continues to be an issue in our district. However, throughout the school year, I want to commend the parents, the students, the staff. Our attendance numbers look so much better. We have a long way to go, but I want to thank you for the work that you have all put into trying to get our attendance on the upward. So I appreciate all of the work that everyone, it takes the community to help. So I do appreciate all the hard work from everyone. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next is calendar notes, and we would note that their election day is no school. We've talked about the intervention days. Veterans Day on the 11th is no school, and our next board meeting is on November the 12th. That one will begin with a policy session at 4:30. We will open up the regular session at 7 p.m. So with that said, if there's no other business or no other comments, need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Gathing, seconded by Ms. Archie. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much. On my list.